Hey, I'm Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for tuning in. And if you're returning, thank you guys for returning. I feel like God really wanted me to tap in with the collective, tap in with whoever's watching, and just address. Sorry, my lash is like weird. But, anyways, because it's kind of trying to give me a lazy eye. Like, if you see how I lifted that all the way up, it's whatever, because it was not being complimentary to my eye. It was kind of making my eye look lazy. But anyways, I really want everybody to think about the role we play in different people's lives and the benefit that we are to different people. A lot of times we don't realize how we show up for people, and however we show up is of benefit. People don't just want you in their life because they just want you in their life. Like, there's something that they get from your presence. And a lot of times we don't even realize that because we don't even value our own power. Each person has a power. Each person has a energy. And a lot of times we don't realize that. But the reality is, when we have relationships with people and we don't feel like that we have energy that's reciprocated, we don't feel the mutual benefit, it's because somebody's benefiting off of something that you're offering, but they're not offering you the same thing back. And people are very calculated in their relationships. Never think that somebody is just in relationship with you just because. And I say that for romantic relationships, platonic relationships, business relationships. Like, people are able to identify easily, usually early on, what you're able to provide. You know, whether that's emotional support, whether you're organized, whether you have like technical resources, like all of those things are things that people consider and take into account when they are negotiating with themselves if they want to be in a relationship with you or a connection with you. And we don't think about how much we have to offer because a lot of things are just readily available to us. For example, your knowledge is just something that you have. You're just a naturally intelligent person. You're a person that catches on. You're a person that organizes. You don't think about how much value that is because it comes so natural to you. But there's someone out there that doesn't have those resources naturally. They're not that instinctive. They're not that wise. And so they see those things about you. And maybe, for example, they might share their ideas with you because they know that you will make their ideas make sense when you reiterate the information back to them. We don't think about those things, but the reality is that people do think about those things and they use that to their best advantage. So it's important for all of us to really understand the resources that we provide to other people and why they're in our lives. It's also important for us to be able to identify what our power is. Stop feeling like you don't have a power. We all do. Like I said before, people do not want to just be in your life because it's you. Granted, it's because it's you, but you comes with things. We all have our own resources. I know for me, at a certain time in my life, I used to feel like there were certain people that only talked to me when they were going through like emotional things and sharing like difficult times in their lives. And you know how you see people on social media talk about like how you might have your friends that you go out with, but I'm the person that you're dumping on. And what I realize as an adult now is that I'm a person that provides a safe emotional space for anyone and everyone, and people easily identify that. I'm not quite sure how I present that to people or everyone, but I think most people who come into relationship or acquaintanceship with me realize that. So people have abused that in the past. And that was something that they wanted to benefit from me with. And I used to think to myself, like, dang, why do I always get the negative times in their life? Why am I not the person that you want to hang out with? And it's not, I'm never a person that's pressed to be hung out with. Let me say that. I'm literally a loner. I like doing everything by myself. Like, I'm not tripping. But it was the principle that I noticed that you only want to share your negative experiences with me. You only want to trauma dump on me. That is very calculated and specific and noticeable also. Especially because I'm like a super fun person. Like, I'm definitely the person you want to go out with. I'm definitely the person you want to drink with because, like, it's a good time. But I noticed that. But now that I'm an adult, I can be able to decipher that those people realize that I was a safe space, a safe landing for those emotional connections. And maybe some of those people that you had fun with and, you know, were able to hang out with, that you desired that kind of relationship from, didn't provide that for you. Everybody knows why they like certain people. They may not know it consciously, but subconsciously, it all makes sense. What you call people for, if you call certain people to hang out, if you call certain people for advice, if you call certain people like you have a job offer or a connection that could benefit them, like all those things add up to something. There is a concise idea that you have related to those people for the reason that you are in connection with them. And the reason I'm talking about this is because a lot of times we end up disappointed in different connections because we don't realize the service we provided to those people and maybe the language that we've spoken that whole time to make them feel like that we were okay with the way the connection was going. You know, you don't want to be used, especially like I speak to everyone on my channel. You know, my channel is open to all backgrounds, but when I specifically talk to women, you don't want to feel used by these men that you're in a relationship with. You don't want to feel like men are just benefiting from what you have to offer. And a lot of men definitely see how useful women are. I have realized that men pick partners based on their utility. Okay? They pick partners based on the benefit that you will be to their life and the things that they're trying to do. If you are an organized woman, they have already calculated and appointed you as their secretary. Okay? You have to really be mindful about the services or the benefits that you provide to people and what they bring back to you. Because a lot of times it's when we take pride in the fact that people value what we provide, and that's nothing's wrong with that. But also understand that if you're bringing value to someone else's life, that they should definitely be bringing value to yours with no strings attached. Because when we bring things to them, it doesn't come with a price tag. You just bring it because it's yours and you want to offer it and you feel like it would be the benefit to them. And you actually enjoyed providing it to them. So I feel like God really laid that on my heart because it's so important for us at this time in our life to be able to understand why we're in the relationships that we're in, why people want to be in a relationship with us, the connections and what we provide. Because I think a lot of times we get tricked out of our positions because we don't really know what our position is. It's easy to trick you out of your position when you don't see the value in where you are, when you don't see the value in what you bring, when you have been bamboozled about who you are and like how much value you have. You are so valuable. The spaces and places that you show up in are not the same when you leave them, and they weren't the same before you got there. There is something about your presence. There is something about the things that you provide that changes the whole atmosphere. And that's so important for you to know. It doesn't matter what people try to convince you. It doesn't matter if people want you to be, again, bamboozled. The reality is that there's a difference. There's a reality, and you provide something special. So don't let anyone make you think that what you're bringing to the table is not important and that it can be easily replaced. It cannot. It literally cannot. And once you're able to wrap your mind around that, you can better understand why we've been tricked in the language, the rhetoric, how society has conditioned us to believe we're in this box and this is all we have to give to people, because people know what we provide. People know the value, you know, but if you're able to trick somebody into thinking they're a one-trick dog, then, you know, that's what they're going to think they are. And again, I feel like God laid this on my heart because it's so important for us to know who we are as people, as women, and in society. We have a role and we've been kind of assigned a role, and we don't have to take that assignment, but it's important to know the assignment that you're turning down, and it's also important to know what you actually bring to the table so you can better move in life intentionally and know where you want to be, how you want to be, and what you're looking for, you know, because if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And I hope that made sense because I can kind of feel that it went. And I say that all the time, but I really felt it go. But I think it's going to make sense for the person that was supposed to receive it. You know, we're special people, and you have to always remember that people aren't just in your company just because. And that's just the reality. And once you realize that, understand that what you bring to the table is important. Set boundaries, have standards, you know, hold people accountable. I know sometimes it's not just easy because nobody's showed us and told us how to do that. You know, we thought that we just had to endure because that was just our role in society. But you are no one's punching bag. You do not just have to endure. You make decisions and you set boundaries and you put people in their places. That's okay. They need that. They need that to know where they're going in the future, and they need that to show up as their best selves in other situations. Because just because we shut the door on them doesn't mean that other doors won't be open on them. And it doesn't mean that that's not God's plan for them. But God's plan for us a lot of times is to speak up for ourselves, use our voice, because God didn't ask for us to just be a doormat for anyone. I feel like a lot of times people use religion and, spirituality as a way for us to just be designated martyrs. And I don't think that's God's assignment for all of us. So I definitely think that God assigns us the role and goal to speak up for ourselves, set a boundary, be assertive, and let people see the consequences of their actions. It's not easy and it's not always fun. I think a lot of times we think that the things that we're supposed to do are supposed to be comfortable, but it's not. A part of our journey is being uncomfortable. The biggest parts of our journey is being uncomfortable, making difficult decisions and going with that, because that's how people learn. That's how people grow. That's how you grow. It isn't going to always be what you were looking for it to be, but you will grow from the difficult decisions, difficult actions, and the uncomfortable spaces. I don't know how else to say that. I know this is going to reach the person that it's supposed to reach. So always remember that you do provide a valuable service and a valuable and unique experience that people enjoy. So don't let people trick you into the fact or the idea that what you brought to them or the experience that you brought to them didn't hold value, because it did. They learned from you. And if you gave them information, a resource, support, advice, they value that too. A lot of times people don't want to give you credit for that because it means more than what it sounds like on the surface. Do not let that go over your head. Understand that you play an important role in people's lives, and you want people in your corner and in your community that you can reap the benefit of mutually. It's not to say that we're just out here using people. It's not that. But reciprocity is important. Reciprocity makes the foundation of all relationships. Don't let that go over your head. And like I said, this will meet the person that it's supposed to meet, because I know God laid this on my heart, especially in this moment. Make connections that hold value, connect with people that literally have mutual benefits and expectations and reciprocity. Like all that is so, I dropped my phone, but it's okay. All that is so important. And trust that you are on the right path in your journey, because God is not leading you astray. The people that God brings to you all the time, they may not come in a form and format that you were expecting, but you will know that God sent them, because He will always send you that reminder. And if you're ever confused, ask God for discernment. God will literally tell you, and a lot of times He tells you really quickly. I know this will meet the person that's supposed to meet, so thank you for watching this long, and I'll see you guys in the next video.